Hi there everybody, this is David, and it looks like Trails is, trailsing again. Basically, Trails just does not know when to end. They're going through and they're remaking the beginning, but they're also focusing on the ending, but then they're changing things and they're delaying things, and yikes, I don't know what is going on, but I do want to talk about it because it looks like Trails is kind of entering its most important era yet. I mean, we all know that Trails in the Sky's second chapter is almost here. It's coming out in September. And then Falcom is already talking about what game it wants to remake next, but they're also working on the ending of the game, but they're working on the beginning of the game, but we're also getting updates to the first chapter. Like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff going on here. So basically what they're doing is they are doing a patch to make the first game fit in better with the rest of the series, but then Kondo at the same time is talking about what game is coming at the end of the series. Like, is this never-ending saga going to end, or is it just going to keep on going? Like, Trails is trailsing, I've gotta say. So they're not just kind of like figuring out what Trails game is coming out next, they're kind of figuring out what the next several years of Trails is going to look like, and it looks like we're going to be getting simultaneous first games coming out with last games, if that makes any kind of sense. Like, it's really, really strange here. Now, let's talk about this a little bit, because Kondo came out in an interview. It kind of has me excited, but also kind of exhausted at the same time, because just a couple of years ago, they were saying, hey, this series is going to end. We're going to give it 5 more years. It's going to end. But then we kind of quit getting entries. Like, it's been about 2 years since we've gotten a Trails entry, a new Trails entry, and they're only focusing on the remakes of Trails in the Sky. And it just seems kind of odd to me, and it's like, what are they doing here? Let's talk a little bit about Trails in the Sky second chapter, because that is coming out on September the 17th, digitally and physically, but there's actually some physical release delays happening in Europe and Australia, and if you spent hundreds, and I mean like hundreds of dollars on that ridiculously expensive Golden Wings edition, guess what? That's been delayed too. Not a fan, not a fan, not a fan. Basically, if you're in Europe and Australia, the Switch 1 and Switch 2 versions of the game have been pushed back till September the 29th, but the PS5 versions and the digital versions are still coming out on the 17th. Now, the Golden Wings edition isn't going to be out till sometime in mid-November, and even then, it's going to be a slow roll based upon who ordered it first. So you might not get it till December, or even after Christmas, maybe even January. Like, that sucks. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, that just sucks. A couple of weeks ago, Falcom came out, and they said that Trails in the Sky first chapter sold like hotcakes. Like, it was something like 417% more than they thought it was going to sell. Like, their profits are through the roof because of this. So then I came out and I was like, well, duh, they're going to be making a whole lot more remakes. But Kondo himself, I don't know how much I believe Kondo. At first I was like, Kondo's the president of the company, he's president of Falcom, of course whatever Kondo says is gospel, like why would he ever lie to me? But now that I'm like really looking more into this, I'm like, wow, Kondo doesn't know what the hell's going on. Like, can he not make a decision? He's like, I don't know what we should do next. Should we do third chapter? Should we do 0? I don't know. And I'm like, bitch, you're the president, figure it out. Do something, like, my God. So it just seems like, make up your mind about this. I do think that they know which one that they want to do, but they're kind of purposely not telling us. They don't want to announce it yet, so they're purposely doing this, I don't know, wishy-washy thing to keep people guessing and on their toes. But you have to wonder, okay, well, let's just take him at his word and say, I don't know what we should do. Should we skip third? Should we go straight to 0? I think that they should go ahead and do third. I mean, it's the immediate continuation of Sky. If they skip it now, we'll never, ever, ever get a remake of it. Second chapter would naturally lead into it. It does contain a lot of really important characters and world building and background, things like that. And yeah, but then Zero, if they want to rush this, if they want to like push this out the door, they could say, okay, we're going to skip third, we're just going to go right into Zero because, you know, cross-spell is just more important. Like, let's just be honest, it just is. Cross-spell is a lot more important to the Trails timeline overall, insofar as it being a border state, a buffer state between Calvard and Erebonia and everything else. So Zero and Azure, they're just a lot more connected to the later games. So, you know, a modern remake could make the crossbow games easier for people to get into. And yeah, getting more people into the games is always a good thing. But what do you think that they should do? I do want to know. Then, they're doing even more stuff, and I briefly touched upon this at the beginning of the video. I know I'm bouncing around all over the place, but my gosh, there's so much here to talk about, and I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants here, so I want to talk about it. I don't even really have a script, to be quite honest with you. I just have some bullet points here of some stuff that I want to talk about. Now, we know that the localization of the Trails series was kind of like passed around like a hot potato. It started with Xseed, and Xseed was like taking their sweet time with it. They had like a little like translation Bible essentially that they were using to ensure that everything stayed together. And then Nisa took it over and they were like, oh, let's just go fast, you know, go on and then catch up. And they did, which is great. Nisa finally caught up because with Xseed we were super behind. We were like 2 or 3 games behind. It was crazy how behind we were whenever Xseed was doing it. But Nisa got us caught up with simultaneous worldwide releases. But then Falcom didn't go with Nisa for the remakes, they went with Gung Ho. So Gung Ho is doing the remakes, whereas Nisa is doing the, I don't know, the normal ones, the modern ones, the current ones, I suppose. So they're not really on the same page, I guess. Whenever I played Sky first, and they were pronouncing liberal, but they pronounced it as liberal, I'm like, what? Like, it really kind of like took me off guard. And there's a lot of other things in there that just needed like continuity. And I'm like, if you've seen Xseed do this and you've seen Nisa do this, why did Gung Ho go and like name their stuff different? Like they named some of the orbments differently. You know what I mean? And it was just kind of odd. Like, it was like, what are you doing? It was just kind of strange right there. So I'm glad that they did institute a patch. And they're fixing terminology as well as voice acting too, pronunciations as well, to make sure that the terminology stays congruent throughout the entirety of the series, no matter who is handling the localization. So I think that that is a really, really good thing. Now, I want to talk about this, because Kondo also said, you know, maybe we can go through and we can remake even Cold Steel 1 and 2. I just have to say, this might be a very unpopular opinion, but it's my opinion, and I just have to say it, and I never shut up. I feel like Cold Steel 1 was one of the slowest games I have ever played in my life, like ridiculously. And they could cut that thing in half, and they could mash Cold Steel 1 and 2 together into one game, because man, the first game is such a drag. And I think that might help get more people into the series, because it wouldn't seem as monumental a task if you are able to kind of have some combined games in there, if that makes any sense. You know, it would just be like less games to tackle, I suppose. So I think that getting more people into the games is always a good thing. Speaking of getting people into the games and finishing this all out and everything, Kondo has come out and he said that the final Trails game is going to be announced during its 50th anniversary, which is 2031. That's the 50th anniversary of the Falcom Corporation, with the goal of ending the series around 2032, which would be the year afterwards. He has said the overall ending has already been decided, and he's also even said that he already kind of knows what the final protagonist's profession will be. I think that it should be like an Ouroboros person. Like, I think that it should be seeing the story from the evil guy's perspective, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I think it would be nice if they didn't introduce so many characters, because we already have so many characters. I think it would be better for them to maybe flesh out the characters who are already there, if that makes any sense. And I think that personally, we've earned the right to see this thing end. I am ready to see a conclusion of this. That's me. I want to see a conclusion to this story. I don't want to be left in a cliffhanger constantly like we always are. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about all of this? What do you think that they're going to do with the next remakes as far as Third or Zero? Do you think that they're actually going to end this thing on time? Are they going to end it in 2032, like they said? What do you think is going on with that? Do you think the contest is full of shit? Let me know in the comments. And as always, have a good day.